This is part 2 of Deo's incredible story. If you want to hear how he overcame many of his trials and turned them into positivity, continue listening.
I remember I never knew peace. I only knew hate. I only knew movement. I never settled down. And there I land up at the lovely lady Sonia Cope helped me get me to Sunbury Primary. Sure. And that was the first time in my life when I came to Sunbury Primary. I can't describe to you the feeling. People take education for granted.
Yeah.
You know, I see. Yes, you're allowed to protest about free education, but don't damage that what is there and what is good and what is positive. And for a guy like me, in Namibia, I never had any schooling. You know, we used to wander around, and my schooling was my veggie garden. Yeah. And there I came to a structure, and at 12 years old, I was equivalent of grade 1 or grade 2. And they took me in, and I couldn't even spell my own name. And they didn't say to me, "Oh, we can't do anything with you. It's useless. You're too old." They put me in grade 4. I was 2 years behind. They put me there, and they took me every time out of the class and re-taught me things and started from the beginning. And within 6 months, they had me reading and writing. And also, they shaped my racial perception of life. You know, they made me a free spirit. Yeah. And the beauty where they taught me that suffering is not about color. Suffering is universal. Yeah. And I think sometimes we like to look at suffering as a color thing, but it's not a color thing, it's a universal thing. Yeah. Every person has a personal struggle and personal suffering, and that's what they taught me. And sometimes I tell the people they mustn't feel guilty to have money. They mustn't feel guilty that life threw them a nice curveball. You know, and they suffer in their own ways. Some people have mental problems, and everybody has a problem. And so it shouldn't be a racial thing that suffering should be associated with. After finishing Sunbury, I was very sad I didn't have a high school, but thanks to them teaching me how to play rugby, I managed to get into Fishook High. And I would like to reiterate that I couldn't afford school fees, especially at Sunbury Primary, and they took me in, and they never told me Deo it's for free, but they helped me, and they gave it to me on the house, and I'm always thankful for what they gave me. If you help the suffering, don't help them to continuously help them. Help them so that the next generation they can help themselves. Like I was helped in that sense, where I was helped so I can help myself, and hopefully my daughter one day if I can't help somebody else, my daughter can help somebody else, and then we can change the world in that sense of notion. But before I came to Cafe Roux, when I finished matric, I lived in a little chicken coop, and I finished matric by myself. And I think I should tell you that piece of the story before we actually go on. I lived in a little place called Hillside Farm, from the age of 16, and I went through high school by myself. I woke myself up, I got my clothes on, I hustled for my own food, and school for me, if I didn't go to school, I was hungry, because the community helped me. This community fed me. I was fed. I'm a product of this community. And I'm actually a product of South Africa. And so at 16 was a very tough time of me living alone and staying in this little chicken coop with my candlelight. And one day a lady asked me, told me, one of the ladies I knew, said, "Why don't you leave school and go work?" And I was in grade 11 that time. That time we used to call it standard 9. And I told myself, I told her, I've come so far. Yeah. Why give up now? No. Even if I fail, I'll go back and do it, because I've come so far and I've struggled so hard. And I finished matric under candlelight. Sure. That's how I did my matric, under candlelight. But the blessing, somebody gave me the tools by introducing me to rugby. So different rugby families who host me, like Matt Harlan's family, they love me very much. They used to look at Quentin Depreneur, Alain Klein, there's lots of them, Mrs. Hobla, Mrs. Folioon, all these different people that helped me and looked after me, Sonia Cope, all these different people that came into my rally when I was really, really down. Also modeled myself on the general manager, Craig, of the Lookout Deck. He was very kind and he spotted me and said, "You know what, you're being wasted behind the bar. Why don't you try to be a waiter?" And he gave me a chance introduction into being a waiter. And then I picked up, and then the distance was too far, and then I was my rugby coach Hilton. I gotta tell you about him. he's the one who taught me how to speak on the phone. He was on the mic, how to speak on the phone properly. And when that's how he's like, hi, bro. You know, that's how I spoke to customers. Right? But I learned a few tips now.
Yeah.
And I'm telling my whole story as it goes. And then, but Paul took me to another level. Paul and Lindy, they discovered me. You know, there I was being taught, and most places they didn't see my potential. But Paul and Lindy saw my potential. And the first day I met them, and I could see, and they dream of Cafe Roux and what they wanted to make of Cafe Roux, a place where it's a homey feel, it's a nice feel. And I think you feel this when you come to Cafe Roux, and that is what it's all about. And I met them, and we had a chat, and I started off as a waiter, and soon didn't take long, I was promoted.
Sure.
Yeah, and I was promoted to being a manager, and ever since, I think for the last 8 years, I've been a manager at Cafe Roux.
Sure.
And enjoying it, and Paul's taught me so much, and I've learned a lot from Paul and Lindy. And the thing is, and also the way Cafe Roux, the way they treat people.
Yeah.
I love diversity, because this is what I see every day.
Yeah.
I see beautiful people, I see diverse, I see different shades and colors, and for me that drives me. And once makes me want to become a better person and a loving person.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to hate.
Sure.
And I think sometimes when you're thinking that, and to come to another part of my story, if you ask, did I have anger? Yes, I had anger. I think for the last maybe 4 years, this is the most happiest I've ever been.
Sure.
And it took me time when I broke down. I went through a terrible state. It took me to break down and completely come to a point where I almost lost my life.
Sure.
To realize that, man, it's petty, and it's why spend time and say, why me? You know?
Yeah.
Why not be grateful for all the things you've been given? And I started looking at what I have and everything that I've been given, even this moment now. You know, I'm very happy to. It's the first time I've ever been shot of love like live video shoot. Very happy. And so I became grateful for these moments.
Yeah, sure.
And so my story is a story of you mustn't give up.
Yeah.
And life is full of knocks. No, so we mustn't fight over little things and petty things.
Yeah.
And my story is about just enjoy life.
Yeah, sure. Sure, guys, we've heard a lot from Deo, and it's been so amazing to hear his struggles, and like it's really inspiring for me to see how far Deo's come. I know if you've ever been to Cafe Roux, to have an embrace by Deo and get a hug from him is absolutely amazing. And yeah, it's just been really, really inspiring for me to hear the story. A man who's come from such a hard time, it's just so incredibly inspiring and positive in the way he lives his life and the way he interacts with people. He has nothing but love for people, which is just blows me away. Yeah, and as I said before, this is a channel where we get to express some of the sensitivities and deepness inside our hearts that we really struggle with, or what we can celebrate. And it's amazing to see that through these times how you celebrate and express your blessings. Just for people out there, I would love you to just share with them maybe some of the ways you've worked through some of these struggles, encourage them to tell their own stories, and how do you do it?
My first thing, which especially this was 4 years ago, it was a very recent thing, I learned to forgive myself. And people must learn to forgive themselves. Yes, you can have a bad day, yes, you can make a mistake, but I never forgave myself. And it's important to forgive yourself and to realize, oh, I am also a human.
Yeah.
And give yourself a break. And maybe allow yourself to be sometimes a little bit vulnerable, and a little bit open. And don't be scared to show your feelings and the way you feel about life as a whole. And be positive. You know, you only live once.
Yeah.
So why go through it negatively? And geez, and as I say, the young people in this country, one day we're gonna make our own destiny here. We're gonna make South Africa is gonna be the greatest African country, and it will take on the world powers too.
So that's Deo for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to share some encouragement or inspire Deo to keep doing what he's doing, please like this video, share it, and just share some encouragement in the comments. We hope to see you soon. Thank you so much, Deo.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure, my friend.